We're trying to get that message out too. But I've been there since 1973. I moved 3 blocks from where I was raised at 1615 South Massachusetts, right across from Roosevelt School. Greatest spot in Mason City, that big stadium that we had, the football stadium, the Mohawk Field, and that big field. Great place to grow up. My mom and dad were Gene and Everett Weaver. He was a long-haul truck driver. Jim, you can relate to that. He drove out to New York once a week, left on Saturday and got home on Friday. So he was rough. When he was home, he was tired and hungry. But he put good food on our table, and we never were cold. So that's that story there. Bring you up to speed, my wife is Cindy Connor. Been with her for 37 years. I couldn't ask for a better, stronger woman. She's taught me so much. I've learned so much from her. Very thankful. She also gave me 2 boys, 2 sons. I have 20-year-old Reuben Weaver and 22-year-old Max Henry Weaver. Now, he's not a junior. I've offered him, Mom and I have offered him the $300 to go get his first name changed. He was my firstborn. He was my firstborn, and I'm just like George Foreman. I go, well, who's going to remember me? That's just a guy thing. It was my own ego, and I said, I'm going to name my first boy Max, and if I have any more, I might make him Maxine, Maxine. It's like George Foreman did, and Cindy put a kibosh to that. Doc, come on in. I appreciate that story.
Okay.
They've been attacked, all 3 unions. Is that true?
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, but they're, you got to respect that. Just finish.
Nobody's going to remember anymore.
Anyway, my wife Cindy works at Mercy Hospital. She's been a nurse for 32 years. Her first 5 years was in Iowa City. She was a neonatal intensive care nurse. She's a fantastic nurse. She's on about 5 or 6 committees out there. Kevin, you know how many committees they have. They've asked her to join many, many committees. She's traveled for them to represent the hospital, and as they change what they're doing out there. They had a merger this spring with Catholic Healthcare East. Now Mercy is the 2nd largest nonprofit hospital in the group in the United States. So there's a lot of changes going on, and she does her job very well. Myself, I've done all kinds of things in the community. I've mostly been a laborer. I love that. I do landscaping, mowing. I play in the dirt a lot, all day, and doesn't pay real well, but I really enjoy it, and gives me time to think and get myself into trouble, I guess. So that's about me. That's who I am.
Why you're running,
Why is that, Millie?
and you see all these people here? We need a new mayor.
I appreciate that. Too, and I'll talk about that. But the first reason I'm running is that, you know what? I love this country. And I love to do what I get to do. And that's shoot my mouth off. That's say the truth, speak my mind. A lot of people can't do that. I can, and I do it. And it's not easy. And I can understand why people don't show up or don't want to talk or want to be anonymous. I understand all that, and I don't hold that against anybody. But we have hundreds of thousands of men and women that have served, millions maybe, over the 2 centuries. Come on in. But out of respect for them, if we're going to let our men and women serve in the armed forces all over this world, protecting other countries and giving other countries the right to vote, to live in a democracy, to have freedoms that we share, it's the very least we can do is get involved over here and keep democracy alive, what people have died and lost their limbs for. In Cerro Gordo County this election season, there's 11 uncontested candidates, Bill Clinton, running. Nobody running against them. They're open seats. A couple of them aren't even filled. That's a shame. The last presidential election, 105 million people did not vote in America. I couldn't let somebody run unopposed. My candidacy started 24 hours before you had to have your papers in. There was no big plot, no big nothing. I came down to the wire. We knew that a lot of people had been asked to run, lots of people. Lots of good people. You know, I don't like that. You should give the person you're writing about an opportunity to put something on the record. Anything else? Rodney?
Yeah, we go back a few years, to say the least. But when it comes time for negotiation for price, wages increases for public employees, the police, fire department, any of the public workers, are you willing to have an outside negotiator work for the city, or do you believe the city personnel, through human resources or the city attorney or attorneys, can handle that
Well, that's a
function?
pretty fair question, Ronnie. Actually, the city's done both in recent
Right.
years. They brought in a mediator to work back.
Experience I had. This is your mayor. He went up to him, shook his hand, congratulated him. He says, "Now, Mr. Bookmeyer, what good things are you gonna do for us?" Do you know what he told him? "This isn't my damn city. I'm not doing a damn thing for these people. I'm here for the power." That's what we have for a mayor.
Let me say one thing to that. I wasn't going to do this. Seriously. I talked to my family, they kind of voted it away. But since you said this, I want to say one thing. Those late night phone calls, and the phone records will show it. You know, with all this stuff that's going on in our city and all the accusations being made, and you know what I'm talking about, shouldn't somebody get sued? Shouldn't do something with everything that's being said? If you want to subpoena me, go ahead. I'll swear on my kids' lives. With everything that's being said, something's got to be going on. But here's what I want to tell you. One of those phone calls, this is exactly what happened. I asked him. He was interviewing me and setting it up. And I said, "Eric, listen, you know, Eric, you got to be the mayor to the community." And that's when I told him there's 28 different neighborhoods, there's probably 30 now, and I said there's 16, 17 different tribes. And I'm not being disrespectful when I say that. Pete, what did they call the neighborhood you grew up in?
Vulcan Ghetto.
The Vulcan Ghetto.
That's where I grew up too.
Let's don't kid ourselves. There's the other side of the tracks and this side of the tracks. It's just the way it is, for a better term. But he told me this, and I knew I had a problem with him right away. I knew this isn't going to work out for me. When I said, "Eric, you got to represent everyone. You got to be able to talk to everybody out there." He was kind of looking to me for some advice. Maybe we would bond. And I told him how it was. I said, "You got to be able to talk to the different people in the different neighborhoods." And this is what he said to me. "That's not going to be a problem for me. I don't talk hillbilly.
He doesn't talk to what?
I don't talk hillbilly." So that pretty much ended my relationship with Eric, and it just started a couple weeks before that.
Agenda. Sometimes we have something we want to talk about that's never on that agenda.
Millie, correct me if I'm wrong, they have 2 different public forums now.
Well, one after the meeting.
Right.
I know that, but that's not.
He pulled off the camera off that one.
That's the one I'd like to have
He
on
tried,
there again.
remember in the first couple months, he shut down the public forum. Didn't even want you to talk anymore. Then he made the statement that he doesn't really want older people, he wants younger people to be involved. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm going to be 62 years old, and I learn something new every day.
I'm gonna be almost 90 and I'm still.
And Millie, I learned stuff. So I mean, wisdom does come with age, you all know that. Come on, you know that. My kids think